Okay, thank you very much. So a few weeks ago I did a speech on mayor's election in Chicago. As some of you, hopefully most of you know, there's an election for mayor at the end of the month. And in that speech I talked about the 14 candidates running for mayor. So in this speech, it's a few weeks later, and it seems like the candidates that have a chance, there's probably 6 or 7 candidates that realistically have a chance to be the next mayor of Chicago. I'm going to read these 7 people right now. Maybe it's on your list. Lori Lightfoot, Toni Preckwinkle, Bill Daley, Susana Mendoza, Willie Wilson, Gary Chico, Amara Enya. I think one of these people will be the next mayor. Just to go through some of the procedures of the mayoral contest, if no one gets 50% in the election at the end of the month, if no one gets 50%, they have a runoff between the top 2. And because there's 14 candidates, no one's going to get 50%. So the top 2 candidates will go to a runoff. Probably anyone that gets 15% or something like this, going by the polls, those 2 will make the runoff. So I'm just going to go through the candidates again real quickly. I myself, I'm going to say I voted for Lori Lightfoot, early voted. So we'll start with Lori Lightfoot. She was the president of Chicago Police Board. She's had other positions. We all know Toni Preckwinkle. She's probably the top favorite, although a few months ago most people thought she was a shoo-in, but because of the soda tax and recently tied to some corrupt aldermen, her stock has gone way down. So a lot of people think she may not win. Other candidates, Bill Daley. I remember on my Facebook page a month ago, I'm interested in politics. I actually put, when Bill Daley jumped into the race, I put, who thinks, what are the chances of Bill Daley being the next mayor of Chicago? This was a few months ago. And a lot of people put 0 chance. But it turned, and I thought so too, Bill Daley, right? But actually he's turned into one of the favorites, believe it or not. And just some of the reasons, he's raised the most money. Just today I read that Ken Griffin, a billionaire, has given him $1 million. So some of you I talked to during the intermission have said they saw TV commercials on the mayor's race. And one of the keys to being in an election and winning an election, for most elections, whatever it is, you have to be on TV. The fact is, and one of the reasons I'm giving this speech is most people are too busy. Some people don't care, but almost everyone watches TV. And I'm sure you've all seen Bill Daley on the TV. So he has an excellent chance. Also, I think he has a chance because people haven't really been happy the last 6-7 years with the way things have gone, and they look back to Daley like, well, maybe the Daleys weren't so bad. So that's why he's become a top favorite. Other guys, Susana Mendoza, she was also one of the favorites too, but her stock has also gone down because she's tied to some corrupt officials in a way. She's had a lot of different positions in city government, but she's still a top contender. Then, believe it or not, Willie Wilson, who I've never really taken seriously, but he actually is polling about 10%. He's a rich millionaire himself, and he's spent a lot of money, so he kind of has a chance. Other candidate, Gary Chico, he's had a lot of different positions. He's one of the Latinos in the race, and he comes across as a knowledgeable person about government, and he's also raised a lot of money. And the last person is Amara Enya. I don't know if some of you have heard about her, but she's a young black woman. I've actually seen her speak. She's really very charismatic, and mostly she's an organizer, and I think she's a consultant, but a few months ago she raised, I think, about $500,000 from some rap stars, and then recently she was endorsed by Dorothy Brown, who was going to run for mayor, but she decided not to run, so that's actually given her somewhat of a chance. So these are the candidates, and like I said in my speech, one of the reasons I voted for Lori Lightfoot, it's not really that I think she's so great, but if some of you remember maybe 4 or 5 months ago when Rahm Emanuel was still in the race to be mayor, there were about 10 candidates that entered the race to challenge Rahm. 10 people that really wanted to change the city, thought it was heading in the wrong direction. And then Rahm surprised everyone by dropping out, shocked everyone. And then what happened after that is some of these candidates, most of which are considered the top candidates, like Preckwinkle, Mendoza, Daley, and Gary Chico, they entered the race because they're like, oh, well, if Rahm isn't running, I might have a chance to win. I wasn't going to challenge Rahm before. I thought everything was fine, but now that he's not running, hey, I can be the next mayor. So just wrapping up, like John Cassetti, I don't know if you agree with him, he writes for the Sun-Times. Some of this stuff you might agree with, some you don't, but I kind of agree with some of the things. And one of the things he said is, a lot of these candidates that jumped in after Ron decided not to run, they're all machine candidates, or what you might call machine candidates. And so I guess if you're happy with how the city has run up to now, you might want to go for these candidates. But for people that want something, maybe the city headed in a different direction, you might want to think about Lori Lightfoot or someone else. Not to say that these 3 or 4 candidates that jumped in after Mayor Ron decided not to run are no good. It's just, if you want to go in a different direction, you might want to consider some of these others. So these are just some of the things I thought I would talk about the race. I know everyone's so busy. Has anyone here decided on who they're going to vote for? No? Okay. How many are going to vote in the mayor's race?
When is the election?
I think it's last week in February.
It's a week from Tuesday.
Week from Tuesday. Who's going to vote? 1, 2, 3, 4. So quite a bit.
Who should I vote for?
Paul Vallis.
I'm not going to. I was originally going to vote for Paul Vallis, actually, but it occurred to me I don't think he has a chance. You probably haven't seen him on TV too much, and just going by the polls, I thought Lori Lightfoot realistically has a better chance. But I just thought I would fill you in on some of the details of this mayor's race, and really you should get out and vote if you want to see the city headed in new direction, because there are a lot of very serious issues, and the fact is in most of these elections very few people participate, and then they're usually unhappy with who won. So there you go. Thank you.